So we here in Minnesota, the greatest state in the friggin' union, we always love the local angles on stories. Hashtag one of us, all of that stuff. That's why everyone in the mother's like, well, the Vikings got to draft Tyler Johnson and Antoine Winfield Jr. from the Gophers, all that other stuff. But what about local product offensive tackle Ben Bartsch from D3 St. John's? Go Johnnies, screw the Tommies, etc. Dude's making a splash in the draft process and is really setting up to be a nice mid-round offensive lineman pick. So I think the Vikings should be in. And so some background. 6'6", 309 pounds. Bartch played his high school ball at Bishop Blanchette in Seattle, Washington. Originally came to the Johnnies as a tight end, and then he gained 70 pounds to move from tight end to tackle. Been there. Because if the Vikings ink up Bartsch, he would be the third tight end converted to offensive lineman. Because remember, Bradbury came to NC State as a tight end. Same thing with Brian O'Neill going to Pitt. So maybe it's the thing. We really know. And hell, David Morgan, let's slap 70 pounds on him. Maybe he could become an offensive lineman too. Anyways, but if you've been on social media for 2 seconds at all, you'll know how Ben Bartsch gained weight, because everyone and the mother reported this. So here's what he did to gain weight. He made a smoothie that consisted of 7 scrambled eggs, cottage cheese, quick grits, peanut butter, banana, and Gatorade. Throw it all in and plug my nose. Now, here's the thing. It doesn't sound that bad. It really does. And now, if you threw in like some fish oil or some I don't know, fish sauce, even though I like fish sauce because I'm Asian. Either way, doesn't sound that bad. But I went on to start 27 games for the Johnnies at left tackle. I was named second team Associated Press All-American for Division III, as well as helped the Johnnies to their first national semifinals appearance since 2003. So, stud, there you go. Also, the big question was him jumping up in competition. So he went down to the Senior Bowl and really did hold his own against D1 competition, created quite a bit of buzz down in Mobile. And if he looks like he's going to be drafted probably in the mid-rounds, he would be the first MIAC player selected since Gustavus wide receiver Ryan Hoag, who was Mr. Irrelevant by the Raiders in 2003. That's, again, the last pick in the friggin' draft. So, cons, let's get that out of the way right away. Level of competition, does raise question marks, but, if you're here in Minnesota, you know that the MIAC is a pretty high-level D3 football. But also, with Bartsch, if you can play, you can play. And I think his performance at the Senior Bowl, both in practices and in the games, will help back that up. A downside is I don't think he could reduce down to guard right away. I think that the jump from D3 to the NFL at tackle, it's going to be a big enough hurdle, whereas he probably doesn't have the frame as of yet to kick inside either against 350-pound freaking nose tackles. At least not right away. I'm not an arm length snob, like some draft analysts are, but 32 7/8 is right near the bottom of where you want to tackle. Also, 9-inch hands. Again, the correlation between hand size and grip strength isn't exactly there, but. All right, so get to the pros. Kid's a friggin' athlete. He is phenomenal, and would be right at home in the zone blocking scheme. Gets to the second level like a beast, and just great movement skills. Good footwork out there. Does need to refine a little bit on technique, except Dennison can take care of that. Looks very at home in pass protection, and also the Senior Bowl practices. Just he never looked hurried. He never looked balanced. He never looked out of place. He's got a great punch. He recovers well when he does get beat, which is also very important for a tackle. And he really does, to a degree, remind you of the small school left tackle du jour from last year, Trey Pipkins. Remember, coming out of Sioux Falls, and it was a similar thing where you question the jump up in competition, but he. With Pipkins last year, I loved it. Like I said, this is very anecdotal, but he just looks like an NFL left tackle where, never panicking out there as he's dropping back. Looks very smooth, looks very confident in what he's doing. And I think Bartch has that as well. Pipkins ended up going in the third round, number 91 overall to the Chargers, ended up starting and playing in 7 games last year. And I think that's a similar area where Bartch could be selected this year. Also, I think Bartch overall is probably a better prospect than Pipkins. And if you look at the Vikings in the third round, they are picking at 89 overall. So the question is, will he be there? It's gonna be tough because I think that's gonna be about the neighborhood where he goes. That's also about where small school tackle Alex Kappa from Humboldt State went to the Bucks a couple years ago, back in the day. And I would love if the Vikings went offensive line in the first round and then double back down on, say, Bartch in the third. Perhaps got some defensive back help in the second. Antoine Winfield Jr., hello. So if the Vikings did that, they got a surefire starter in the first round at offensive line, and then brought Bartch in as a long-term project in the third. I wouldn't be mad at that at all. But that is the drawback, is that I think he is a pretty substantial project. We'll probably have to sit a year, perhaps two, to get him where you really want him to go, but potential is really limitless. And I do like the fact that the Vikings would have two really nice offensive tackle projects in both Bartch as well as former sixth-round pick Oli Udoh coming out of Elon. You get just two physical specimens that you really need to break down technique and really build back up. I think Dennison could be a big part of those projects. But that's Ben Bartsch coming out of St. John's. What are your thoughts? Let us know in the comment section below. Also, subscribe for daily Vikings takes. You want to support the work, pull us on the Venmo, plus give us a follow on social media as well. But until next time, Skol, production value.